Hey y'all, Aurora here. Been forever since you've heard my voice outside of music, hasn't it? Well, let's go for it. I wanted to start this year off a little bit better by actually telling you in video form what the hell I've been doing in the background. It's been a lot to say the least. Why the hell waste time? Let's get into it. I guess if we're gonna kick this off, I better talk about what the hell's going on with music as of recently. If you've kept up with any of my community posts, which you should since it's literally the only place I post nowadays, there is an album currently in the works and scheduled for a release later this year. I've been working on this new album a ton in the background, and I can say that while progress is slow, it's coming along really well, and I'm hoping to have this album completed by the spring. It's been hard trying not to give away any plans regarding music, as a lot of it has been some of my best material yet. Plus, I've been slowly upgrading my production and recording setup to ensure it sounds as good as it can as I start completing the album. Currently, every song has been written, but only one song has been fully completed, so I'll be taking my time getting this made as time goes on. As for other musical endeavors, why not talk about future nerdcore material? Back in July, I released Suffer With Me, which was based off of the Glitch series Murder Drones. Though the quality of this song in terms of the mixing has kinda soured for me recently, plans are set to have the song remastered sometime within the next year, which does mean it is getting re-released onto stores without the nightcore and instrumental versions. Alongside that, other nerdcore songs are on the way and hopefully will be sprinkled in alongside the rest, so keep an eye out for those. Now, onto stuff regarding my past music, like my old music from quarantine. Some of you might not even remember since they're not up on my channel anymore. But back in 2021/2022, I released 2 albums, both entitled Heartache of a Thousand Mistakes and A Sense of Purpose. I've been contemplating on what exactly to do with these massive thorns in my side for a while now, since while they were a foundation as to what my music would end up becoming, they're not great. Like, at all. At some point in the future, either re-releases of these older songs, or full-on remakes, or just a straight overhaul of these albums will be planned. Though this isn't set in stone, so don't set any expectations. That should be all for music as for right now, but of course more updates will come out as the year goes on. Now on to something I haven't really gone back to in a while, gaming. Well, not necessarily gaming in general, just in terms of content. I've been wanting to come back to do funny moments and whatnot to just have fun with content again, especially considering that now I have more free time to do just that. Not only that, but I want to actually start doing Let's Plays of old childhood games of mine. I know, how original. Not exactly dead set on something yet, so let me know if you have any ideas on where I could take this, as it'd be really nice to go back to gaming again. Now this is where things get interesting. There's a few other kinds of content I want to start making over the next year, although none of it is final. I'd love to continue with top 10s again, but I might honestly switch it up and do tier lists for a while. More specifically of a game series I like, or bands and artists' albums that I want to share my thoughts on in a more concise format. Not only that, but maybe doing reactions to songs or albums could be something I do at some point this year. Yes, it seems like slob content to make, but I've genuinely wanted to do some of this for a long time. Just haven't had the time to. So be on the lookout for that. Huh. Feels like there's something else I need to talk about. Oh, fuck! Alright, let's get this over with. If you saw this community post that went up a few days before Christmas, it should be kind of obvious as to what this section is going to be about. So yes, starting this month, I'll be moving all of my old EAS videos to a separate channel titled Aurora's EAS Toybox. By January 31st, all of the EAS videos will be made public on that channel, while being unlisted and or privated on my main channel. I won't be leaving my EAS days behind on a low note, however, as I finally resumed production of the EF Nightmare remake, now slated for a summer 2026 release. This wasn't a decision I made lightly, though it was an inevitability, and I'd like to explain why. The 2 big things that have kept me back from doing EAS content further are, well, its sustainability here on YouTube, as well as just overall motivation and comfort with the type of content. I'll go over the sustainability part first, but I think that should be pretty obvious. EAS content here on YouTube just isn't a viable option for a YouTube career at this point. It gets views, but Lord knows there are various instances of YouTube's monetization policies fucking over EAS creators left and right. And I don't really have much of an audience or personal incentive to start something like a Patreon or Ko-fi or YouTube memberships or something like that currently. So continuing would be kind of a dead end here on YouTube. As for the overall motivation part, that's a little bit more complicated to explain. I've been slowly losing the motivation to even write EAS scenarios, and that's mainly because of how they're made today. Majority of the ones I've seen over the past year are more analog horror based, which, while not necessarily bad, leaves some of the content feeling uninspired the more you watch it. At least for me it does. That's just kind of why I stopped watching analog horror content altogether, though I still have a ton of respect for those who put their soul into these videos. They're well made, just not my favorites anymore. Of course, me being more into creating more realistic weather or natural disaster scenarios comes with its downsides too. People can be prone to believing that things are real when they aren't. For God's sake, a good chunk of the first comments I got on EF Nightmare were a very big indicator of that. Plus, there's more people nitpicking things that I didn't know, which just kind of comes off as annoying when they're not meant to be super plausible from a probability standpoint. Though, when life throws an actual storm your way, it can change a lot. Yeah, a big reason as to the loss of motivation was due to Hurricane Helene back in September of 2024. I was located in Asheville, North Carolina when the hurricane hit, and seeing how I, unintentionally, made a scenario that took place during basically the exact same time that Helene made landfall made me feel extremely uncomfortable and pushed me away from making further EAS content. Hence why that specific scenario will be the only one not coming to the new channel, at least for a long time. It holds a really bad stigma for me, and I'd rather not put it back up simply for the sake of archival. There's a whole other spiel I could go into with the EAS community at large, but I'm pretty sure people have beaten that thing into the fucking ground before, and besides, I wasn't really active in the community itself, so I don't think I could ever speak for anybody in that community. With that out of the way, I just want to go ahead and do a refresher of everything. Like I mentioned previously, any and all EAS content from scenarios to alert catches to the miscellaneous alerts will all be moved to the Toybox channel by January 31st. All the videos will then be unlisted on this main channel, maybe privated, but I'm not entirely sure just yet. Any mention of EAS content on my channel's branding, however, will be removed, such as the banner, description, and the channel intro, stuff like that. Once that's completed, full production of the EF Nightmare remake will continue and hopefully be released during the summer. That will officially be the end of my EAS content endeavors for likely forever. And the Toybox channel will just be preserved as is. Whew. That was a bit of a mouthful. Alright, with all that said, let's end this off on something more positive. I seriously cannot thank you all enough for sticking with me throughout all of my bullshit. And being gone and working on stuff and whatnot. It's been a very busy year for me, but I feel like now I'm in the right headspace to work on various types of content again, and I feel incredibly optimistic about everything going into this year. Seriously, thank you. I wish you all a great start to the new year, and I will see you all hopefully very soon. Good night, and take care of yourself.